Return to Silent Hill. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I am deeply concerned about this film from what we've seen so far. Because apparently we still haven't suffered enough over the past decade with atrociously made video game to film and TV adaptations written by complete cretins that have no knowledge of the source material. Before I get too into things here, I just wanted to say that this video is going to be a little bit different than the other two videos that I've posted up on my channel. Both of those videos were heavily edited, had proper scripts written for them, and were more on the well-spoken, serious-ish side of things. This video is just essentially me being more unfiltered and, letting loose all of my candid opinions with absolutely zero mercy. So Christoph Gans, as we all know, is back directing this new film, and that in itself I've had a little bit of a problem with since it was announced last year. I mean, sure, he directed the 2006 Silent Hill film, which, to its credit, it still holds up as one of the better and more thoughtfully made video game adaptation films that we've gotten. I still watch the first film at least once or twice a year. It's got loads of great moments, mainly within the first hour of the film, but where it always seems to lose me is the bizarre changes made from the source material. I'll never forgive that film for just wasting Sean Bean, man. Like, that guy was just reduced to a confused and irrelevant character for the entirety of that movie. He was just sort of used as a lazy vice to just dump more and more meaningless exposition on us as the film ran its course. Christoph does genuinely appear to have great respect for the source material and all of the people that worked on those original games, but then why add or change so many things? I just don't get it. Like, look at James, bro. Why is this man in a leather jacket, a waistcoat and skinny jeans? This is not the awkwardly tired and depressed common man that we all know as James Sunderland. And if this film is anything like the first, which I'm positive it definitely will be, then he's not even going to be called James anyway. It just absolutely baffles me why it's so hard for these studios and writers just to make up their minds and either follow the source material to an exact T, which isn't hard, by the way. Like, the entire story of Silent Hill 2 is already written out and scripted for you word by word. Or why they don't just make a dedicated spin-off film that has nothing to do with any of the games set in the world of Silent Hill. That's why I really rated how Bloober Team handled their remake of Silent Hill 2. They stuck nearly bar for bar with the source material, but the changes or additions that they did make felt good. All of the new added sequences, puzzles, cutscenes, and new dialogue, it all felt very fitting for the game and not at all out of place. I mean, sure, not everything was perfect, but there was nothing that really stood out to me as being so blatantly out of character that it didn't fit within the original story of Silent Hill 2. Here's the core issue that I have with the teaser trailer from what we've seen so far. Silent Hill 2 works because it's subtle, it's moody, and it's personal. It's never been about the jump scares or how many creatures and gore you can shove on screen at once. It's all about being immersed in that beautifully toxic, foggy, and industrial atmosphere, and coming to that slow realization that, and spoiler warning here for those of you that haven't played either the original or the remake of Silent Hill 2, James is the real monster of the story. He is the main antagonist. So when I watched the teaser and heard loud musical stingers, saw ash falling from the sky again, and what looks to be Brookhaven set on fire for who knows what ridiculous reason, and Pyramid Head giving his best WWE entrance trying to snatch up not James through the bars in Woodside while he's picking up the key. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. And seriously, why is the whole ash thing even being included again in this film? Did you all see some of those shots with all the ash from that behind the scenes footage that we got last year? I'm gonna throw some up on the screen now. Like, look at Heaven's Night, bro. What is that? Like, why? I get why they wanted to give an explanation to people as to why Silent Hill's foggy, but if I was someone watching the film and I didn't know that it stemmed from software and rendering limitations on the PS1, I'm sure that with someone with more than 2 brain cells, I would have been able to figure out by observing that, it's some sort of ethereal, otherworldly thing that doesn't really need to be explained outright. Everything that we've gotten so far just feels so off to me. Like, the movie seems to get the surface level elements, the fog, the monsters, the music cues, but it's missing the soul. As I touched on before, Silent Hill 2 has never been about gore or set pieces. It's fundamentally always been about guilt, repression, that gnawing awful feeling in your chest when you've realised that you've ruined everything and that you can't take it back, but just try to shove it down and pretend that it never happened. I mean, you can't just throw in a few hundred bubblehead nurses and explosions and then just call it a day. This isn't Resident Evil. You don't fight your way out of Silent Hill. You suffer your way through it by slowly coming to terms with all your repressed guilt, anger, and other sinful misdeeds. And speaking of Resident Evil, it's looking more and more like we're getting the Welcome to Raccoon City treatment with this new movie. Like, it's actually uncanny the amount of comparisons that can already be made just from a teaser and some behind the scenes footage. I want to take a moment to talk about Maria for a second in all seriousness. Maria is supposed to be this idealized version of Mary, seductive, promiscuous, uncanny, and overly needy in a really unnerving sort of way. So please tell me why she looks like she's doing a cheap cosplay of herself at an anime convention. And that wig, bro, please don't even get me started on that thing. It straight up looks like it was ordered last minute off of Temu by the costume department and just slapped on her head. Who on God's green earth thought that it was a good idea to send this poor woman out on set looking like this? Maria's not supposed to scream, "Look at me, I'm hot." She's supposed to scream, "Look at me, I'm your unresolved grief and guilt, manifesting as a weirdly flirtatious hallucination." Totally different energy to the cheap Comic-Con cosplay that's going on here. Now obviously Pyramid Head needs to be in this movie. It's the one and only film that he's actually needed in. But judging by the previous two movies with their unexplainable hyperfixation on him, who knows what they're going to do to my boy in this movie. I honestly shiver at the thought. With all my ranting and rambling aside, I want this movie to be good. Please don't get that twisted. I love this franchise and I love Silent Hill 2 very dearly. I want to wake up on the release day of the movie gassed up and, you know, go and sit in the theatre with my girlfriend who isn't into gaming whatsoever and doesn't know anything about Silent Hill 2 and feel like I'm watching a visual love letter to one of the most emotionally complex and deep horror stories in all of gaming history. That, in my eyes, is the whole point of adapting video games to film or TV. It's so that not only us as the fans can enjoy watching our favourite franchises on the big screen, but so that the people that we know in our lives who aren't necessarily interested in gaming as a whole can enjoy these phenomenal stories too. Take the Fallout show for example. My second watch through of the series, I watched it with my mum, who's obviously not a gamer, but she loves films and books set in post-apocalyptic and dystopian societies. She's also got the same dry and sarcastic sense of humour as me, so going into it I already knew that she'd really enjoy the world of Fallout. Our best case scenario is that somehow the film surprises us. Gans nails the atmosphere, the pacing, themes, and it doesn't violate the core narrative and essence of the original to beyond recognition. If I sound harsh, it's because I deeply care about Silent Hill 2. It deserves more than just to be another horror film with cool monsters and sad men. It deserves respect and a decent Maria wig. So let me know down in the comments what you think about the new film. Are you cautiously optimistic? Fully in denial? Are you already pre-writing your hate-fueled reviews ready to slap up on the r/Silent Hill Reddit? Either way, that's all from me on this one. So please do consider dropping a like and subscribing because it really does motivate me to make more of these type of videos in the future. I hope that everyone had a really good weekend and that everyone enjoys the week ahead. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.